Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dupeaki and I'm a makeup artist in the city of Abuja. If you're just joining this channel, welcome. Today I'll be showing you a makeup tutorial and I'll be working on medium skin tone and I'll be showing you how I prep the skin and how I also lay the foundation. So if you like to see how I achieve this look, please keep on watching. So here's my model. She's a medium skin, she's not light, she's not really dark. And I have cleansed her skin with the msmetics micellar cleansing water. And now I'm going straight to moisturizing. I'm using the Cetaphil Moisturizer. And I'm just going to apply it all over her skin. I like to actually concentrate under the eye. So I like to leave my moisturizer there. Blend it everywhere all over the skin, but then come back to the eye. Come back to under the eye much later. So I'm just going to take this flat brush from Yangabeauty. It's their multi-flat brush. And I'm just going to apply the product generously all over our skin. Using my hand to push in the moisturizer further into her skin, and then it's well absorbed into the skin now. So I'm just going to go in with the next primer, and that is the Smashbox Original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur. And I'm going to take this primer and apply on the areas where I can see texture. I mean, the primer says smooth and blur, so it must mean that I'm trying to blow out something. So I'm trying to reduce the appearance of texture on her face. So I'm just going to apply the smooth and blur primer on these areas. I prefer to apply primers with my brush. I don't like to go in with my hands when it comes to primers. So I'm going to do that here. I'll take more of that, apply here as well, under her chin, and then I'll take that again and go on her forehead. So when I'm applying primer, I like to avoid these areas because I feel like I want those places are like real high points of the face, and I want those areas to shine through under my skin technique. So I don't like to apply primer there. I would rather apply it like under here and here and here, and try and avoid the tip of the nose as well as the cheekbone, because I'm going to place highlighters or liquid illuminator there. So I do not want that place to be dry or to dry out. So now that I'm done applying the first primer, I'm going in with the second primer, which is the Milk Hydro Grape primer. I mean, in the beginning, when this primer first came out, I was a bit conflicted, but I've used it over time and I like the feel. I'm not sure that I can say that this is exactly what it does, but I mean, like the name says, there's that grip that I feel like I can instantly see this skin smoothing out when I apply it. I don't know if you can see that from this video, but as I'm applying it, I can see that everything is appearing smoother. And the skin tends to feel a bit, like sticky and ready to adhere to something. So I just feel like when I put my foundation over this, it just blends on well. But I always make sure that whatever I'm applying under it, or whatever I applied under it, had time to settle, and whatever I'm going to apply over it as well, I would let this settle in first before I go in with my foundation. So except I'm going for like a really matte finish, I'm not particular about using like a very strong, how people say, oh, I have really oily skin, please make me really matte and stuff, except my focus is to make sure that the person doesn't produce any form of oil, or that the makeup is lasting like hours and hours. I really am not a fan of like mattifying primers 100%. I mean, I use them in some occasion if I'm going for like a matte finish, but here I'm going for like a semi dewy finish, so it's not really dewy and it's not matte, it's just skin like and fresh. So the next step is foundation. So I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty foundation, and I will be dropping the Glass Glow Face Illuminating, product in it. For this foundation actually is a very matte foundation. It's very matte and it tends to stay matte, even though I mean it's not totally transfer proof. I just really like the foundation, and because it's really matte, I like to share it out with this product so that I can build it up without having cake face. So I'm just going to swatch it here. This is the shade Mocha, and I'm assuming that this is the best shade for her face. If I try to match it and it doesn't suit, I'll adjust it to her shade. So I'm using the Yangabeauty foundation brush, and I'm just pressing this into her skin. Going to apply this all over her face in pressing motion. So she has like I said earlier, her skin is a bit textured, and so I'm not going to be buffing. Some people use this technique to apply foundation where they're buffing the brush around the face. I am just pressing in, because I'm not trying to wake up the textures and say, be more enhanced, show yourself. That's not what I'm trying to do. Instead, I'm trying to make them appear less visible. I'm not trying to make them as visible as they already are. Instead, I'm supposed to try and reduce the appearance of texture with her foundation. I personally really like full coverage foundations. I like it because I don't want to see of course, like I said, I share it out, but then I also don't want to see like spots. I don't want to go correcting. I don't want to conceal. I want it to be even, and I can manipulate a full coverage foundation to my taste. I can make it look light, and I can also make it look fully covered. So I'll just go on and apply on the other part of her face and come back to show you. So here you can see the foundation is well placed. It's just like one shade darker. Yes, it's about one shade darker than our actual skin tone. And now we're going on to the next step, which is concealing, highlighting, and contouring. So I'm using the In My Skin concealer mixed with the kevynaucion concealer in shade 12, and I'm just going to apply that under her eye area. I'll also apply this, the bridge of her nose. I'll apply it here as well, and then here. I'm not really going to go over her forehead because I'm not trying to bring that much light towards that area. Whatever is left on my brush is what I'm going to use, is what I'm going to apply all over. I'll blend it all out up until her forehead. So I'm just going to go here and apply the product here as well. Now, I like to blend this part in, which is the other parts of the face where the concealer is. I like to do it with the same foundation brush that I use. It helps me to control the the amount of spread that the product gives or how bright the product is. So I'm taking a little bit more and I'm placing that under here, around her mouth again. If I feel like, so you know, I mean, I can see what I'm doing, and if I feel like I need more product, which I think that I do around that area, I'll just go in with more product. So I'll put this there because I want more product there. I'm just going to put this there and blend it as well. Now that I'm done with that area, I'll take the same concealer, which I still have on this palette. I'll take a little bit of it here. Can you turn your face that way? And I'll just go under her cheekbone. So I'm basically going under the area I will be contouring. I'll repeat the same process for the other side. And I'll blend it in, still blending it in with a foundation brush. Then I'll go over to her forehead and blend it in as well. So I'm blending outwards. Still pressing in, and then I'm just going to take some more product and apply there. Also, I like to use the same brush and blend out this outer part of the concealer. I'm blending it into the foundation because I don't want any ash lines. I'll do that on both sides. That's too much. Yeah. And then by now, you would have realized that the concealer under the eyes would have had time to settle in. So I'm going to push that in with my beauty blender. I'm not pressing too hard. I'm just blending very gently into the inner corners. When I do this area, immediately I would also do the other area. Now when I'm working on anyone at all, I try to understand what their skin needs. So for her, she doesn't have she doesn't have that much fine lines. What we're dealing with in our case is texture. She doesn't have lines, she doesn't have wrinkles, so she's good. So under her eye, that means that I can leave the product under her eye for a bit and hopefully not get too much lines under there. So I'm just going to leave this product under her eye for a bit and then go straight to contouring. Okay, so I have my contour mixture, the Huda Beauty Tantour Contour powder cream, and I'll just apply it here, sculpting her cheekbone basically. So I'm applying it under her cheekbone to lift her cheekbone. She already has gorgeous cheekbones, so I'm just enhancing it. I'm going to do the same thing. Can you turn a bit to the side? I'm going to do the same thing on this side. using it to lift her cheekbones, and I will reduce the intensity of that product with her foundation mixture, and then I'll just use that to contour her nose. I do not like it when my nose contour is too dark. It always seems very unnatural when that happens. So I like to just keep it, you know, moderate, snatched, but decent. And then if I want to emphasize her Cupid's bow, I'll put the same product right there. So the nose is a really tricky area. For some reason, even though I apply the cheek product first, it's always harder to blend the nose if you let it dry out too much. So I like to go into that first. And I'm just blending outwards into the concealed area of the face. I like to use this brush because it just blends it out at once for me. I don't have a tough time blending this product in when I'm using this type of brush. So it's kind of like an angled powder brush or blush brush. So I just like to use that to contour this area. Now that I'm done doing this, which is a contour, I will go in with just a shade just slightly darker than what I used to conceal under our eyes and the other areas. And I will just go back in and emphasize. You know, I'll go back in and blend some more and brighten up that area before I set. So I like to set under the eye first. I'll show you in a bit. In a bit. So I blend that into the contoured part of her face as well. No harsh lines. So now that I've gone under the eye, it's time for me to set. And I'll be doing that. I'll be setting under the eye with the MAC Mineralize Skin Finish Powder. I like to take my beauty blender over this, get some product out, and then press in. I can also do this with a brush, but when I do this with a beauty blender, whatever the case may be, I try to disinfect the powder because I'm taking a beauty blender that I've used on a client or on this model and put it in a powder product. I have to disinfect it after use. So just as I have set the highlighted areas with powder, I'm going to do the same for the contoured areas before I bake. So now we're going into contouring and sculpting the face and also setting the areas where we contoured earlier. So I'm going into this middle shade here and I'm just going to push it into the contoured areas. This has like a very warm feel to it that I like, especially for her skin. So I'm just going to use that over there. So I'll also dig into this product and sculpt the nose. Basically set the cream products that I have used earlier and set them in place. In this process, I emphasize the contour. I try not to do too much around the nose because remember, we're trying to avoid texture. And if we're not careful, when you do too much around that area, you bring back texture. In fact, you bring it back more than the way you had it there before. So I try to be more gentle. In fact, in this case, I'm going to go back in with my beauty blender and just press the product in So with the light product that has been on the beauty blender earlier, it will help to set this in place properly without any ash lines. I will then go into baking, and for this process I'm going to be using the Beauty by AD powder in Lucent. I like this shade because if I cannot determine how bright or how cool I want to go, how warm or how cool I want to go, when I go in with this product, it doesn't really add color. I think it goes with the name. It doesn't really add color. It just brightens under the eye, and that's why I like it. So I used it to set, but then I'm going to also use it to bake. So I'm not necessarily, blending it in as I did the setting product. So I'll press it in a bit at first, and after that I will then apply it loosely, using it to sculpt the nose as well. I would do this around the nose as well. Over here, under the contoured part of the face, to further sculpt the cheeks. As well as on the brow area, to take out any excess oil that might be there before we draw the brows. Immediately after this step, I like to go in straight with my blush, and in this case I'm going to be using the Sleek. I've had this blush for such a long time, I've refused to throw it away, and it's the Blush by 3 from Sleek Makeup, and it comes in 3 shades just like this, and I like to take both, in fact sometimes all 3, and just fluff it in. So I'm not really heavy-handed with my blush. I mean, of course I like the warmth that comes with it, but I'm not so heavy-handed. I'm always like, we Africans, we don't really blush. I mean, we don't get like rosy cheeks naturally, So when I go heavy-handed on you, I'm just like, is this normal? Is this allowed? But I mean, blush is really pretty on skin, so we can't miss this step anyway. But then, please don't use your blush like it's a contour, please. Yeah, now that I have done that, just blending it in gently, I will then do whatever else I need to do before I finish this skin. So I've gone ahead to do the brows and the eyes, and now I'm going to just finish up the skin. So remember, we had the setting powder from Beauty by AD under our eyes, so I'm just going to take this mineralized skin finish powder from MAC in the shade dark, and I'll just tap on my brush, and then I'll use that to sweep off all the excess product that I have under the eye. And I will repeat this on the other side as well. I'm also pressing this in as I go. And then I'm just going to do that all over her face as well. I'll take a big powder brush now and just use this to press in all over. Now that I'm done with this step, that I don't miss this next step for anything. I always get my fix plus. It's very important to me. And then I spray this generously, like generously. I try to remind my client or whoever is sitting in my chair not to squeeze their face and not to open up until it's dry. I spray this so generously. I don't know, it's just something about how this displaces all the powder that you've used over time and just brings everything together like skin. So I'm just going to take this nubanbeauty liquid highlighter in the shade Aurora. It's usually for dark skin, but I like how it feels. And I'm just going to place this on the high points of her cheeks. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side of her cheeks. So what this does is that it helps whatever I'm going to layer on this part of the skin to sink in properly. I like to take this as well and just put it on the high point of the nose, the tip of the nose, as well as the bridge of the nose. When I'm done with this, I'll take this brush and apply the same product under the brow bone. And now I usually just let that settle in for a few minutes, probably about 1 minute or so. So I'll be using this Sephora Golden Hour highlighting powder. I'll take it and dab a little bit on my hands and then put this under the brow. So this is more like this has like a rose goldy finish. It's not like a yellow gold. It's not a, it's not too bright. It's just perfect. I'll put that there as well. Press it in. And use my hand to finish up there. And then I'll go in with my highlighter brush and just dabble on the product, a bit, dust off the excess, and then just place it right there. It's important that this sinks in like skin, And I'll repeat this same process for the other side of the face. I'll also do this for the high points of the face, for the bridge of the nose, sorry. Just a little bit, and the tip of the nose. When I'm done with this, I'll go back in with my fluffy powder brush and just make sure that everywhere is staying put as expected. Now remember my issues with the blush. I earlier said I didn't like to put too much blush because I don't want someone looking orange on me, but I would like to just add more for warmth around her face here. So I'll be going in with this orange shade just to add some warmth to her face. Amazing. Yes, we are almost done. So this is the final look, and the last step is to have me spray her whole face to make sure everything stays in place. So for this process, I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Resting Boss Face Waterproof Setting Spray. Did you hear that? Waterproof setting spray. This is very important because, I mean, we're in Nigeria. We know how the weather is over here. Like, it's hot. So we have to make sure that, you know, everything stays together. So with this, I'm going to try and cover up the eye area and just spray around the rest of her face. And that will be it. I'll let that settle in and we will be right back. All right, guys, this is the final look. I think we did a good job. Actually, I know that we did a good job, yes. So we've been able to achieve flawless skin without the skin looking cakey. I've shown you my skin prep routine and I've shown you all the beautiful things I put together to achieve this look. So that's it for my skin prep and foundation routine. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Also, please comment down below what you would like to see in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. See you in my next video. Bye.